This is Comic Geek Speak, episode 1903, previews. Welcome to Comic Geek Speak. I'm Ian Levinstein.
I'm Adam Murdo.
And I'm Chris Eberly.
Comic Geek Speak! Ow! Been a while since we've heard the first tones of Kirby Crackle on the air. Well, welcome one and all to the show, and yes, indeed, it is previews time yet again, and once again, it is the very end of the month, and we apologize profusely for that, but scheduling, and we want to
Life happens, folks, life happens.
Exactly. Let's make sure we get previews to you, our listeners, before the month of June is over and said with, and there we are. And, of course, you, the listeners, over at patreon.com/comicgeekspeak are one of the many reasons why this episode is able to happen every single month. And we thank you so much for your continued support of the show in any way that you can give it. For as little as $1 a month, you can join us over at the Patreon. If you so desire to give an old school donation, those are still available. comicgeekspeak.com/donate.php. And if you don't have time for that, then just spreading the word either via iTunes reviews or elsewhere, or just letting people know about the show is just as beneficial as anything else. We actually just got a new iTunes review the other day from a listener who mentioned that we missed low-hanging fruit on the Guardians of the Galaxy review episode. Let me see if I can bring up the actual review itself so I can mention exactly what he told us that we missed. Here we go. When mentioning the character that shows up at the end, slight spoilers for Guardians of the Galaxy. The Eternals, that is. With Harry Styles, he mentioned that we could have very easily said that they could only go in one direction, but we managed to not bring up.
Oh God. Ian, I'm surprised you didn't say that. Wow.
I am very disappointed in myself for missing that hanging fruit there. But we thank X30 for the 5-star review he left last month. Any of you folks can do that as well, or like I said, spread the word on the show in any way that you can give it. Patreon.com/comicgeekspeak. We thank you so much for that support. Alrighty, let's get into the thick of it here, gents. As it is previews time yet again, and previews issue 417 this month, as well as over at DC Connect, it's issue 37, and for Marvel, it is issue 21, I think volume 6 or something like that. I lose track, but we got a lot of great stuff to talk about this month, and this is the last month that Image is going to be in Diamond's book. So we're thinking things through and exactly how we're going to bring that to you. But we know that Lunar does have a catalog, and if they do wind up having their solicitations in there, then that might be where we have to pivot. But you'll find out next month exactly what we're going to do,
and so will we.
Exactly. But we begin, as always, with previews, and these Marvel X-Men The Animated Series 1/7 scale resin busts look amazing, and I'm not going to buy them because I shouldn't, even though I really want to. All right.
This is very mature, Levy Poo, very mature.
Thank you. I don't have the space. I can't do it. All right. Over to Image. And we begin with a man who, on the time bubble, I was reminded, started out his career as an inker. Mr. Rick Remender has a new offering out of Image on page 34, The Sacrificers, issue 1. Art by Max Fiamara and Dave McCaig on this one. Tomorrow is a harmonious paradise thanks to 5 families who make everything perfect for the price of one child per household. That's a heavy price. That's a heavy price. I don't know if that's exactly paradise when you think about it. Now, as the bill comes due, a son expected to give everything for a family that never loved him, and an affluent daughter determined to destroy utopia must unite to end one generation's unnaturally protracted reign. You know, I don't think...
I'm sorry, Ian, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I don't think anything's ever sounded more remender than that premise right there. That's...
yeah, I was going to say that it's an interesting premise because you see versions of this throughout media, literature, film, television, where, you know, the society that sacrifice makes an unspeakable sacrifice for the greater good. And so in Remender's hands, it could be really gripping.
Absolutely. Yep. The artwork on the following pages looks really, really beautiful. Mm-hmm. Well rendered indeed.
Yep. Makes one think of Saga.
Mm-hmm. Good call.
I'm always happy to think about Saga, Murd.
But this is the one I'm 38 because I get to say the words the schlub #1. And it's Stegman, baby. Kenny Porter and Ryan Stegman on the artwork. Along
they're writing.
Co-writing.
Story. My mistake. Yes, you are correct on that one. Tyrell Cannon, Mike Spicer, and John J. Hill are on the artwork chores. Stegman does one of the covers, actually multiple covers for this one. But yes, you are correct. He does not do the art chores this time around. He is co-creator, along with Superboy writer Kenny Porter. All about a failing dentist who blames the world for his problems until he's body swapped with the world's greatest superhero. Oh, wow. Shazam meets schlubbiness. I love it.
He's a schlub, all right.
Oh my God. It's
proudly posing arms akimbo with his paunch.
Oh man. Oh wow. Look, great faces. Very, very, very expressive. Really gets the schlubbiness down.
Really reminds me how much I don't enjoy going to the dentist.
Yes. Especially the old woman with her mouth agape on pretty. Jeez.
Agape and clamped open with half a hardware store there.
Looks like she's a meant for the Weapon X project there. Jeez.
Wonder if he shares office space with Oren Scrivello DDS.
Oh man.
Well done, Murd.
Nicely done. And you see the design for the superhero kind of reminds me a little bit of Prime from the Malibu universe.
Yes, good call.
Yep. Moving over to page 42, Kelly Thompson gives us a new 5-issue miniseries. Something is Killing the Children meets Super 8 in this perfectly dark coming-of-age story for fans of The Goonies. The Cull, issue 1 of 5. Horror vibes mixed with Goonie-style adventure as 5 friends set off to shoot a short film on a forbidden rock near their home and summer before they all go their separate ways. But that's not really why they're here. One of them has lied, and that lie will change their lives forever.
Great cover.
Excellent cover.
My biggest takeaway from this solicit is that Something is Killing the Children is a certified fan favorite because you know a book is made it when other publishers start trying to sell their new product by comparing them to said book. So
very, very good point. Yep.
Yeah, I haven't tried Something is Killing the Children. I have to make a point of that.
Yep, same here, Chris.
I'm surprised they didn't mention Stranger Things in the solicit too, because just from the general vibe of it, I know they mentioned Goonies, but that's what came to mind when I thought of this. Definitely. All that on page 42. All right. Scrolling down to a man that Chris make that noise, and that of course is Captara Universal Truths, issue 1 of 6 by the one and only Chip Zdarsky.
I never read the original Captara.
Well, sir, you have an assignment.
I totally missed that. My God, just getting older and older.
Well, this is a brand new chapter, new 6-issue mini in the world because you demanded it. Yes, you. Don't you remember? We were having drinks and we said, "Hey, whatever happened to Was it Captara? Every single Chip Zdarsky solicit is the best solicit. Oh man, it's a science fiction series. Astronaut Keith Kanga, trapped on the planet of Captara, is trying to find his way home, but first he needs to solve a mystery. Who is stealing all the adorable cat tanks? Who would dare? It's a good question.
Oh, there's Captara Volume 1. All right.
Yep. Offered again, Captara Volume 1. So on page 46, find yourself Volume 1 of Captara, and then get into the insanity of this new 6-issue mini, because it looks like it's going to be insane from these preview pages on page 47.
Oh, Luna.
Very happy to see anything by Jonathan Luna, and art by Jonathan Luna makes it all the sweeter as we get a new premiere here on page 48 of Quest. Nice straight and to the point title, I must say. In a land inspired by Southeast Asia, Princess Anya's new husband, Prince Devin, is violently abducted by 3 giant demons at their wedding. Anya sets out on an epic journey with a growing band of loyal warriors, crossing deadly landscapes and battling horrifying demons. What will she sacrifice to save the man she loves? Gentlemen,
what was the series they did some years back where there were those cloned women?
Girls.
Was it Girls? Okay.
Yes. Yeah, Girls. One of my favorite series. I still own. I own the complete trade of that, and it's so good. So good.
Yeah, I never read the whole thing, but I remember it being incredibly creepy.
Yep.
To get back to that.
That was both Luna brothers.
Yeah.
This is just Jonathan Luna, but wow, the artwork. My God.
Yep.
Those well-realized deities in the background, the demons, the Inquisitors. Page 49. Oh, man. Look at the cover to Local Man. So good.
Local Man Gold. Other colors possibly forthcoming. We can't be sure.
Oh, they have to be. They have to be. Tim Seeley and Tony Fleeks give us the missing member of X-Force that we never got in Local Man. Like, oh my God, that 90s design. How many X's can you fit onto a uniform? He finds a way to fit more.
Yep, and he's got more inside those pouches strapped to his thigh.
Levy Poo, you must be right at home right now.
Absolutely. It's like Shatterstar meets Cyclops on the design. So that,
well, there's some Shaft in there too.
That's true. That's true. Yes. Man, Local Man has to get his younger, more extreme self back to his own time before he ruins what little life Jack has left. But it won't be easy. Cross Jack isn't the only one who's landed in the wrong era, and they're both being hunted by vengeful heroes from the past.
Perfect jumping on point for new readers.
In, baby. This sounds like so much fun. If you read any comic book in the 90s, this book is for you on page 50.
Mm-hmm. Trying to forget a lot of the 90s, though.
There's plenty of good stuff.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Just not that stuff.
Yeah. There was also bad, indeed. 51, Volume 1 of The Ambassadors. Mark Miller with artwork by Frank Quitely, Travis Charest, Olivier Coipel, Matteo Buffani, and Matteo Scalera, and Carl Kerschel. Man, what a lineup!
Is this related to what was it called? What's the show you got on Netflix? The family team.
Jupiter's Legacy?
Jupiter's Legacy, yeah. Is that related to this or no?
I believe it is, but I'm not entirely sure.
Well, it says that they have made a Netflix project out of this, too, right down at the bottom of the text here.
Let's see.
An all-new cast of characters from Mark Miller's latest Netflix sensation.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything. Although Ambassadors miniseries, no, nothing of note that I can see. So I'm going to assume yes, this is actually a part of the Jupiter's Legacy. I could be wrong, but I'm not seeing anything when I put in the words Mark Miller, Netflix, The Ambassadors.
Fellow producer, you made a valiant effort. It's much appreciated.
Indeed. If it turns out to be something different, then so be it. But either way, excellent creators involved with this, as you've cracked the superhero mystery and can give superpowers to 6 different people around the world. Who do you choose? It's a very, very difficult question, and one that can be answered here with the ambassadors on page 51. 52, baby. Man.
So I just picked up a few months back, they released a hardcover of this, which I snagged. I haven't read it. I mean, I read this book when it came out, but I'm looking forward to reading it again, especially in the wake of Pacheco's tragic passing. Because they didn't complete, obviously, the second volume that was coming out, which was wonderful, the sequel to this. So if people enjoyed the new Arrowsmith, they should definitely go back if they haven't read the original. It's just as good.
Absolutely. Yep. Arrowsmith's So Smart in Their Fine Uniforms, Volume 1 on page 52.
And again, people don't know that it's an alternate history where World War I is taking place in a world where there is magic. Just go with that.
Yep.
A lot of fun alternate geography and cartography happening, too, if you're into that.
Yeah.
Like Ohio is a part of Connecticut in this world.
Ooh. Makes me immediately think of Steven Universe and the different state sheets in that as well.
Oh, right. Keystone State. The state called Keystone.
Exactly. But there's still a Jersey. I know that.
Heck yeah, there's a Jersey.
Yeah. All right. Class War. Rob Williams, page 53. This is Rob Williams along with Trevor Hairsine and Travel Foreman.
Yep. It was a kind of a career-making project for all 3 of them.
Yes, indeed. Yep. This is Love Your Country, Then Rip It Down, with the critically acclaimed indie superhero hit that gets its own paperback collection for the very first time on page 53.
Sounds like a very interesting story, especially because he's being pursued by his former teammates who are called the Enola Gay.
Which is the name of the plane that dropped the atomic bombs on Japan, for those who don't know. That's why it's called that. This came out, well, it started to come out in 2002 from a publisher called com.x, which I think ran into some rocky roads financially in the middle of it, and so the thing didn't get finished until years later.
Yep.
But yeah, it raised a lot of eyebrows at the time, as I recall. I think like Wizard was talking it up for a bit there, and it's it's kind of a reflection of its time. It's like the post 9/11 and the beginnings of the Gulf War kind of political landscape. And
that's a landscape that would lead many people to have questions about the conduct of their government.
Certainly.
And quite a testimonial from Brian K. Vaughan on the cover there.
Yes. Superheroes done right. Smart, dirty, and mean, says Brian K. Vaughan.
Well, I don't necessarily agree that superheroes done right, but it's one interesting variant attempt, shall we say. And I'm going to pre-order this. So,
I'm going to get it too. Absolutely.
I'm gonna have to check it out as well. I think it seems like it's right up my alley, and I missed it when it came out, way back when. But that it's from a certain era when Murd says the words "Wizard was talking it up." Page 53 for that. Once again, all 6 issues of Class War. And Hexware, Volume 1, Tim Seeley's Witchy Wonder, along with Zulemo Scotto and Lavina on the artwork. This collects the first 6 issues of Hexware, all on page 54. Futuristic Dark Fantasy by Tim Seeley. All right. Move it down a little bit further here to another Mark Millar series, Nightclub, Volume 1. Which I remember reading the first issue of and really enjoying.
So I remember you talking about this. That's right. Yeah.
I'll have to check out the full trade now that it's available. All 6 issues of that available, along with Juan Ramirez on the artwork. Volume 1 of that on page 58. And Doug Wagner, talk about some weird shit. You want weird shit? Go to Doug Wagner. Plush trade paperback, first 6 issues of that available for a cozy $20 on page 50.
Serial killing cannibalistic furries.
Yeah. Good times. It's weird. Yeah. All right, scrolling down a little bit further in the image catalog here, and we're on to the regular issues. Battle Chasers issue 12 on page 65. Joe Mad continuing a near monthly schedule for the first time in years. Let's see. Hopefully he has enough banked where he continues doing that. But a new Final Fantasy just came out, so you never know.
Now, it helps that he's not doing the actual interiors on this stuff.
Very good point. Yes. Artwork by Ludo Lullaby. Great name. Page 65 for that. Issue 26 of Firepower on page 67. Kirkman and Somni's epic continues. Oh, wow. Great cover for Immortal Sergeant number 8. Joe Kelly's wacky and crazy book on page 70.
Teaming him up with Ken Nimura again, with whom he created I Kill Giants.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. And the end of the first story arc of Indigo Children. It's been getting some pretty good hype. And issue 6 of that comes out this month on page 71. All right. And Love Everlasting, the end of its latest story arc, is available for you as well on page 74. So issue 10 of Tom King's Love Everlasting.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the trade on that. I started. I'm like, you know what? Again, Tom King often is better in trade. So,
yep,
I'll wait for that.
Apologies. Issue page 73, not page 74. Love Everlasting, issue 10. Scrolling down a bit more, do we have Saga? Let's see.
No, we do not. I already checked.
Yep. All right. I had a feeling. Anything else in Image, gents?
You're like a kid who runs into the family room every morning in December, waiting for his stocking to be filled.
That was my brother. He'd go in my parents' room at like 5 o'clock in the morning and wake them up.
Oh my God. You know what? I'll just say it one more time on page 83 because we had so much fun saying it last month. The unbelievable, unfortunately, mostly unreadable and nearly unpublishable Untold Tales of I Hate Fairyland, issue 2 of 5 on page 83.
You read that with great panache, brother. Great panache.
Title of the year. Best title exactly. Title of the year, best title in comics right there. And we are done with Image, and we are ready for Boom. Starting off with page 90, The Many Deaths of Lila Starr, Pen and Ink. Issue 1, Ram V's winner of the 2022 Ignatz Award for Outstanding Series, returns for a new one here. The next installment in Pen and Ink, a deluxe art-focused format featuring stunning black and white interior artwork and artist commentary. Available for you on page 90, and it is absolutely gorgeous on the inside. I'll tell you that much.
Wow.
Great stuff. Felipe Andrade is the artwork on this, and doing a terrific job. Also, Rare Flavors #1, the tasting menu ash can, available on page 91.
Always good to see the word ash can being used in a previews.
I agree. Greg Pak's got a new mini, page 92. Soon to be a Netflix animated series. Greg Pak and Takeshi Miyazawa bring us Mech Cadets. This feels straight out of the 80s, and I like it.
I was thinking of Robotech.
Sure, yeah.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. It's General Park, head of Sky Corps Academy, assembles a team of heroes to protect humankind from alien invasions, and Stanford Yu, Maya Sanchez, Frank Olivetti, and Park's own daughter Olivia may have been pulled into the role by fate, as they are Earth's best hope. Which one of them will form the head? You'll have to find out. Mech Cadets on page 92. Really cool design for the mech. Yeah, they're going for a very specific era of anime action here with this one. Definitely.
How good was the Robotech cartoon? I never watched. I heard it was great.
It definitely had its moments. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I think, as with any of the series from back then, like it had its translation issues. Going from Japanese to American, but to English. But I know that that's one of my favorite things, though, is to look at those 80s series and like watch the Japanese and watch the English, and then be like, so just how much of it did they really change? The answer may surprise you. It was a lot. Wasn't just changing like rice to hamburgers and stuff like that. Like they move stuff around entirely sometimes. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers 30th anniversary. 30th
anniversary. How do you feel about that, Levy Poo?
I'm old. That's exactly how I feel. I was a huge Power Rangers fan growing up, and I'm happy to see that it's flourishing the way it is with Boom right now. And I'm incredibly happy to see that in this anniversary special on page 100, we get a story by the one and only Amy Jo Johnson, aka the original Pink Ranger. So, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, nice to see her contributing to the to the 30th anniversary special with a story.
Oh, Ian, you're still youngin'.
I am. Trust me, I am. But here's to this, and here's to that amazing Dan Mora cover for the 30th anniversary.
Wow.
Check out some of the incentives on the next couple of pages.
Oh my, man. Jeannie Montez got a great one. Oh, I love that Rian Gonzalez Angel Grove Dream Team cover. And of course, a photo variant, which is just a stock photo from when the Power Rangers were the Power Rangers. But fun nonetheless.
And how about that one?
Man, wow. Bon Bernardo with a wraparound incentive variant on page 103 that's sexy.
Yeah. Basically Rogues Gallery covers. One from TV and the other from the comics, I assume? Although try as I might, I can't find Pudgy Pig on there anywhere.
Pudgy Pig.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. Huh. See, now I'm scrolling in a little bit just to see. Yeah, you're right. No, I think we're Pudgy Pigless. That's a shame.
Dare I ask?
You see, he was a pig, and he was
a giant pig in like a Roman centurion's helmet, with the scrub brush on top, and one of the earliest opponents of the Power Rangers.
And was this a man running around in a suit?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
These were all people running around in suits.
Yep. One of my favorite things about the Power Rangers back then was seeing, what they shot themselves and what was taken from the Super Sentai in Japan. And earlier seasons was almost all entirely like Super Sentai action. They had to try to make sense with their story that they would set up when they were out of costume. And that was the best part of all of it. Meanwhile, Power Rangers Unlimited Call to Darkness is the prelude to the next Power Rangers event, Darkest Hour. And that's available to you in trade on page 104 if you're interested in that. New Buffy the Last Vampire Slayer miniseries. As a new Slayer rises in the world of the Last Vampire Slayer. This is kind of the old man Logan of Buffy. That they introduced a couple months back, and the first trade of that is available, and this is the newest miniseries in that.
Looks like that Spike standing there behind her.
Yes, indeed. Yep. Casey Gilly on the writing chores, and Oriel Roig on or Roig perhaps on the illustration.
Look at that Francavilla incentive cover. Ugh.
Beautiful. Yep. All there on page 106. Then Buffy the Last Vampire Slayer, The Lost Summers, available in trade on the very next page, 107. Volume 3 of Berserker. Keanu Reeves and Matt Kint on page 108.
I thought you were going to fully break into the song. Probably can't. We're trying to make it a semi-family program, so.
Exactly. Do you want to? No. Berserker. Oh, man. I'll refrain. I'll wait till the next Uncle Sal episode to bring that up. Al Ewing's We Only Find Them When They're Dead Deluxe Hardcover Edition. available.
What page is that on?
Page 115. What's the first 15 issues of We Only Find Them When They're Dead. The main version of it is only $50 for 400 pages, which I'm sure you could get discounted either from DCBS or in stock trades or Amazon or what have you, wherever you manage to be getting your stuff, or perhaps even your local shop if they have incentives. But it's a nice, cool hardcover there with Simone DeMeo on the artwork chores. And once again, 15 issues of the series all available to you here in this. And they have a slipcase for even more money on the same page 115.
Al Ewing, that's enough.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We'll be seeing more of Al Ewing later in this catalog.
Yes, we will.
Have any of you been reading Once Upon a Time?
I totally missed this.
Yeah. This is Jason Aaron's post-apocalyptic story that is now up to issue 8. With Leia Del Duca on the artwork chores. I'll have to track down the first trade of this one. Page 117 for issue 8 of that. All right. Anything else in Boom, gents?
I'm good, Murd.
Yep, I am also good.
Okay, fantastic. Then Boom, over to DC. And DC, there's a lot of night terrors going on, which means
just scroll through.
Not a lot of stuff to talk about.
Seconded, yes.
Yeah.
They're all issue 2 of 2 anyway.
Yeah.
There's Dead Man, there's
pages and pages of it, my God.
Presumably Dr. Destiny's in there somewhere.
Night Terrors, issue 4. Night Terrors, Night Night Terrors, Batman number 2. Night Terrors, Detective Comics number 2.
It's a lot of number 2.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, there's good creators on this. I mean, a lot of the creators from the actual main run are on it. What an absolutely creepy cover for
Night. That is a creepy cover.
Number 2 on page 7. Yeesh. You can get nightmares from that alone.
Yes, you could.
Yep. But we're mainly going to skip the Night Terror stuff because if you're reading Night Terrors, you're going to continue to read it. It's nice to see Mark Waid continuing on Shazam for the Night Terror Shazam number 2. We get some Mary Marvel action in that one on page 12, which is nice to see. But I'm just going to scroll down to
God.
page 16. First off, just look at the cover.
Yep.
Number 1.
I'm looking at it, and I'm not seeing Oswald Cobblepot. I hate to say it.
I knew Murd would make a comment. Yep.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this has been solicited before.
It's a resolicit. Yep, it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
So just look to the left to the Boland variant. That's the Penguin.
Yes, definitely. Or even the Sizroy variant looks a little bit more penguiny than the main cover as well.
A little more if you look past the enormous tattoo all over his back.
Yes,
courtesy of Harley Quinn.
That is fair. That is fair. But remember, revenge is for the birds.
Whack.
Wait, how long have we been doing this now? Wow, that's late for you. Jeez.
It's not my fault that's exactly what the solicit said.
It's the way you delivered it that matters.
I'm not coming up with this stuff. They're just giving it to me. And that's, page 16. Yeah, Tom King, Rafael De La Torre. In, baby. Will it actually come out this time? It probably will. This is set for August 22nd of this year.
All right.
I will give it a try.
Yep.
And I'm also pre-ordering on the next page Penguin number 0, which collects the Penguin backup story from issues 125 through 127 of the current Batman series by Chip Zdarsky and Belen Ortega, which kind of is a lead-in to this Tom King Penguin story.
Yes, and it was an excellent backup in those issues of Batman. So well worth its own collection, separate from that. For anybody who was not reading that particular, Batman in single issues, now you get the full story here in one issue 0 on page 17. Metropolis's secret revealed, and baby, annuals, baby, they're back, and they're still happening, and they still matter. Joshua Williamson, along with Mahmoud Asrar on the artwork, along with Max Rayner, Jack Herbert, and Caitlin Yarsky. This is Lois Lane as editor-in-chief of the Daily Planet, but she'll always be an investigative reporter, and lately Metropolis has had a whole new set of secrets she can uncover. Even it means investigating her own husband, Superman. Features Livewire, Parasite, and Mercy all together in one annual. A lot of story going on here on page 18.
I'm loving the new, like I said, the new Superman series.
Yes, indeed. And this Action Comics presents Doomsday Special on page 19. Dan Waters and Eddie Barrows. That's a good team right there for a crazy Doomsday story from the looks of it.
Yeah, the Doomsday stories just keep getting crazier.
Yep.
It's like a writer's one-upsmanship contest to see who can exaggerate Doomsday still further. Now he's king of hell, apparently. And so he's lording it up over some demons, and Supergirl and Martian Manhunter. Interesting pairing there, because they're the two characters who teamed up with Superman to usher Mongol into the DC universe in DC Comics Presents way back when.
Oh, Murd, what fantastic callback.
And it also it features the return of Bloodwind, an early 90s DC character we have not seen since like the days of Dan Jurgens' Justice League.
And wasn't Bloodwind actually Martian Manhunter, or at least a version of him?
Exactly, Ian. He was at first, or it was kind of a false reveal kind of thing. Kind of like with Hush, where when we first saw him, he was, he was like, when Jason Todd came back, it was Clayface in disguise at first, but then he came back in earnest. But when we first saw Bloodwind, it was just Martian Manhunter impersonating him. But then the real Bloodwind stepped in, and he ended up joining the Justice League. He was around during the Death of Superman story. It's appropriate that he steps back into the DCU here.
Yeah. Essentially, it was Zorn before Zorn.
Oh, God.
It's happened multiple times in comics history. Like Ronin was another good example. The Cassie Cain Batgirl, which was the Huntress first and then Cassie Cain afterwards.
Yep.
The list goes on.
Yes, indeed. Well, check it out if you're into Doomsday from Hell. Doomsday Special #1 on page 19. I gotta check out Unstoppable Doom Patrol. It's on my list, and the first 3 issues are now available on DC Infinite. And I keep hearing better and better things about it every single time I look. So I've got to check it out.
Mm-hmm. Yep, our old acquaintance Chris Burnham is turning in some very nice, crisp, beautiful, and strange artwork on this one, just as Doom Patrol artwork ought to be.
Yep, absolutely. Page 20 for issue 5 of that. And World's Finest Teen Titans issue 2.
Look at that Somni cover. Oh,
great,
man,
great.
Yes.
And that's on the next page, page 21. Wow. The untold tale of how
I'm definitely getting this.
First met on page 21. So in.
Yeah. It's Mark Waid taking his turn to tell the first meeting of Superman and Batman. It's
how can you go wrong? Yeah. Art by Travis Moore with a cover by Dan Mora. And I'll tell you, Dan Mora has never looked more Jim Lee. And I don't mean it in a bad way. I think it's like it very much it's evocative of
evocative is a good word. Yep.
Yeah, of the way that Lee drew Batman and Superman in Hush in particular. I think that's what he's echoing here in one way or the other. Really, really well drafted. Just always love a Mora piece. Variant covers by Derek Robertson and Diego Rodriguez for this one as well on page 21. And then Super Son versus Super Son. I read the first issue of this finally, and I'll have more on our next comic talk, but the comic talk after our next. But I loved it. And
I did too.
This is Batman versus Superman, Super Son versus Super Son on the Injustice World on page 22, issue 6 of the Adventures of Superman, John Kent. Tom Taylor continues to do Dynamite. All right, scrolling down a bit more here. Issue 3 of Michael Dorn's Steelworks, available on page 23. At the Mercy of the Silver Mist.
The great Michael Dorn.
I like seeing the Silver Mist show up. That's a character you don't see nearly as much as some others in the Superman world. All right, over to Fun in the Sun, starring Gnort. You asked for it. At least one of you asked for it. Gnort's Illustrated Swimsuit Edition, written by Steve Orlando, art by pretty much everybody who you see. Paul Pelletier, Nicholas Scott, Mikel Janin. You got Derek Chu in there, Joella Jones, Joe Quinones, Terry Dotson, Babs Tarr, and many others on page 20.
Pete Woods.
All red.
Yes. All red is in there as well. And I cannot wait to read this. Not something I would say very often about a swimsuit edition, and yet I cannot wait to read this.
How times have changed, though, that the main cover has not a single female character on it.
Yes, very good point. Very good point. Well, as long as you have the sexiest character in DC, Nightwing, on it, then you're perfectly fine.
I would expected you to say Gnort there. Yeah.
Well, okay, Gnort is number 2. Yeah. And the image of him, blow drying his hair with the Green Lantern blow dryer is just classic. Page 27 for that. Wow, look at that cover for in black and white and red are number 2. Page 20.
Somni again.
Yep, very evocative of Batman the Animated Series.
Yes.
Get the Riddler Year 1, Issue 6 by Paul Dano on page 30. And onward we go to the Nice House on the Lake Deluxe Edition. Collects the entire 12-issue first cycle of the Nice House on the Lake. Page 32, James Tynion IV's horror 12-issue maxi, which will be continuing later on as well, with art by Alvaro Martinez Bueno. Deceased also gets the deluxe treatment. Tom Taylor. I've heard great things about it. So it's collects Deceased 1 through 6 and Deceased: A Good Day to Die. Page 34. Bruce Campbell and Eduardo Risso.
You can skip it.
I mean, come on. Sergeant Rock versus the Army of the Dead.
I read the first issue. Was
that's a shame.
Didn't bowl me over.
Better actor than writer, eh?
Yeah. It was just.
It wasn't groovy.
At least for me, no.
All right. Well, if you want to find out for yourself,
yes, of course. But it left no impression on me. Let's put it that way.
Fair enough. Page 35 for that. One that I will probably check out because I haven't gotten a chance to get to it yet is the Power Girl Returns. I know this is all backups for the most part, but I want to learn more about exactly where Power Girl is these days because I got it from the Action Comics backups that I've been reading, but it starts in Lazarus Planet, Assault on Krypton, and then goes from the backups in Action Comics 1051 to 1053, and then the Power Girl special, all by Leah Williams and Marguerite Savage. On page 36 for that. Do check it out. Zatanna and the Ripper, Volume 1, page 38. Her 21st birthday, Zatanna Zatara is attacked and bested by a mysterious sorceress. Before the final blow is dealt, her father, Giovanni, casts a spell of his own, warping the magic of his attacker and sending Zatanna out of the frying pan and into ye old garbage bin as she arrives in Whitechapel, London in the year 1888 and has to deal with Jack the Ripper. So some time travel action for Zatanna here on page 38 as Sarah Dealey brings her back in time to 1888.
Yeah. Guest starring Zatanna's occasional boyfriend, John Constantine.
Mm-hmm. You got it. Art by Rachel Koo and Ciro. Page 38. Another one I'm looking forward to, page 40. Static, Up All Night. What happens when the New York Times best-selling writer Lamar Giles and illustrator Paris Eliani take their heroes on an epic night that goes from bad to worst? Well, this is the story that you get. Modern Times static story being told on page 40. Up All Night. Great artwork.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, really digging it. Page 41 has it on display. I'm just happy to see anything static related. And on to the rest of the solicits. Issue 161 of Fables. We're getting to the
penultimate issue, it says.
Yep. Penultimate issue. Page 43 for that. Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Continues to only be $2.99 on page 43.
Issue 123.
Man. Good stuff.
Oh, facsimile.
Mm-hmm. For the Omega Men.
Yep, first appearance of Lobo.
Nice. Lobo looked a lot different than his first.
Yeah, acted a little bit different, too. I've read that issue.
A lot less bastiches.
Yeah, considerably fewer. Might have been a frag or two in there. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Really good trade below that. The Batgirl Year One. That's an excellent story.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, huge fan.
Scott Beatty and Chuck Dixon. Marcos Martin on the art. Anyone who's a fan of Batgirl, you haven't read this, I highly recommend it.
Yep,
Yeah.
this was taught as a text in a graduate level class at Bowling Green State U.
Really?
I was a huge fan of that when that came out to begin with, back in the day. And yeah, it's well worth checking out if you haven't before. Page 44. Batman Nightfall Omnibus Volume 1 2023 edition. Did you not get the 2022 edition or the 2021 edition? Well, now's your chance to get the 2023 edition. Page 45, it'll break you back.
Oh, boy. Oof. Magnificent.
Yep. How about that Batman Golden Age Omnibus?
Look at Ace.
Yep.
Yep, that's his first appearance there.
Excellent. Written by Bill Finger, Edmund Hamilton, William Woolfolk, and others.
Oh, wow, Bill Woolfolk. He wrote a lot of stuff for Fawcett back in the old days.
Oh, Murd. Fantastic.
Yeah, he's best known for his Captain Marvel Jr. work. And it also has the first appearance of the mustachioed Mad Hatter, the one who was obsessed with hats as opposed to Alice in Wonderland, and the Batmen of all nations.
Okay. Which in a way was the sort of the trial run for Batman Inc. when you think about it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's when more importantly when Grant Morrison thought about it, it was definitely the inspiration for that.
Mm-hmm. On that same page, iZombie, the complete series by Chris Robertson and artwork by the one and only Michael Allred.
That was made into a show, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. A very good show at that, actually.
Was it?
Yeah. Rob Thomas, the same guy who did Veronica Mars.
Oh, well, say no more then. Okay.
Yeah. It's all on Netflix right now. I think I still have one season left to go in that one. But I really like the direction that the series went. The TV series, it's different than the books, but the books are terrific and well worth checking out. And this collects all 28 issues of it in one omnibus here. Page 46 for that.
By the way, gentlemen, we're having major electrical storms here, so if I vanished, you'll know why.
Fair enough. It is one of those nights. I know that there's a warning here in New York City, so I've got another Golden Age omnibus, this time for Wonder Woman on page 47, and a Silver Age omnibus on that very same page.
The great team of Ross Andrew and Mike Esposito on art.
Yep.
The tempestuous Robert Kanigher writing.
Yeah. Wonder Woman, not his best stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think any superhero work of his is his best stuff.
His war stuff is what counts.
Bingo.
And that is it for the DC for this month. As we make our way over to Dynamite.
I'm sorry to say I've never seen the movie Fire and Ice.
Neither have I.
No, that makes three of us then.
Wow.
Yep. However,
I've heard of it, but I've never seen it.
Bill Willingham brings us a Fire and Ice story on page 129.
Ooh, art by Leonardo Manco.
Mm-hmm. The cover by Bill Sienkiewicz. Excellent. Just in time for its 40th anniversary.
Screenwriters Roy Thomas and Jerry Conway.
Wow.
Working for Zeta and famed director Ralph Boschke. I've never seen this. I'm ashamed.
I have never seen it either, and I clearly have to with a pedigree like that.
Well, yeah, the animation. I mean, it says right here that it was rotoscoped, so it's a little. The animation is a little sketchy. And have you ever seen Bakshi's Lord of the Rings?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, more of the same then.
Okay.
About the same technique.
Got it. Yeah, I'm taking a look here. You're right. it looks very familiar. Yeah. Let me see if I can bring up an image here just so Chris can see real quick. I'll change.
Thank you, sir.
Yep, no problem. But this is what we have to expect from it. And I mean, mind you, it's not bad. It's just
I mean, I know exactly what Murd means when I think back to the Lord of the Rings one, but there's a charm to this I like immensely.
Oh yeah. I mean, it reminds me of the old Hanna-Barbera stuff that
exactly. Yep.
On Cartoon Network all the time.
Yep. Thunder. Okay.
Yep. But check out on page 129 a story in the Fire and Ice world by Willingham himself. Scrolling further into it, and there's
Christopher Priest a Vampirella Dracula combo.
Will this be purchased by Mr. Chris Eberly?
Well, I have to clarify because there's a follow-up to Vampirella Year One, which I never finished, which was excellent. I started reading it. I knew nothing about Vampirella until Priest. I decided to read because Priest was writing it. Right. So I have to finish that, and then I'll probably give this a try.
Okay.
Yep. This is the beginning of the end for Priest on the character, though.
Yeah. Vampirella Dracula Rage, issue 1, page 135. Got some nice looking busts there. Pun intended on page 139. Vampirella resin bust and a Dawn resin bust for any of you who are collectors. And I think that's going to be it for me from Dynamite, because I think everything else is mid-series. Although, you know what, I will stop on here. Disney Villains Hades #1, page 151. Always want to point these out. And I got to see the Hercules musical in New Jersey a couple of months back and had a lot of fun with it. So Hercules has been on my mind since then. And this is now a take on the titular hero's villain, Hades himself, written by Elliot Callan with Alessandro Rinaldi on the artwork chores.
Did you see that at Paper Mill Playhouse?
I did, yes.
Ah, okay.
Yep.
Nice venue.
Yeah, very nice venue, actually. Didn't realize it was that easy to get there by New Jersey Transit as well, so I may have to frequent there more often.
Oh, I love when Levy Poo puts stats in our neck of the woods.
Page 151 to check that out if you're looking for some Hades. Great artwork.
Yeah. Wow.
And that's what I like about this this Disney stuff that's being put out, is that they're not looking to be fully like animation accurate. They're allowing the artists to actually use their styles and just, be the characters, but have their own take on it. And I appreciate that.
Yep. Here. Yep. And I appreciate that the writer of this series is delving into some actual Greek myths here. Apparently the plot of this Hades series is going to be basically the Argonauts turned inside out.
Ooh.
Nice.
Hades is going on his own quest for the Golden Fleece.
Very nice. Issue 2 of the Gargoyles Dark Ages. Mentioned issue 1 last month, but I'll mention it here on page 157 if you want to continue reading it as we go back in time to the early days of the Gargoyles. And a great action figure variant on page 158.
Oh, Shane will love that.
Yeah. Oh man, God, the artwork just continues to be so good on these series. Digging it.
I love when your breath is taken away.
It's great to see series that remind me of stuff that I loved when I was younger, and it's just a brand new take on it all. Like even here with the Darkwing Duck on page 162. Excellent artwork there. Jumps off the page. We get He is the terror that flaps in the night on page 164. Foul Play, Darkwing Duck. The Foul Play collections on that in the following page collects the latest arc by Amanda Dibert and Carlo Lauro. First collection of the current Darkwing Duck series available for you all. All right. And bye-bye Dynamite, I believe. Yes. There is no more Dynamite that catches my eye. So we scroll and we prepare ourselves for the rest of the book. But first, bounce ourselves over to Marvel. And Marvel starts us off first with another one of those, pardon my French, bullshit. This time with Spider-Gwen, but it's Amazing Spider-Man issue 32. At least it's a Spider-Man issue this time.
Yes, right.
You know?
Not slapping this on Hulk or something.
Yeah, but it still says Edge of Spider-Verse, even though it's not an Edge of Spider-Verse title. So, yeah, still not a fan.
Your wrath.
We do get, for the first time in quite some time, Uncanny Avengers. This one's starting off a 5-issue miniseries by Jerry Duggan and Javier Garron. Man, that variant cover.
That Alex Ross cover of the Avengers. Oh, look at Tiger and Wonder Man. Wow.
And the X-Men one, for that matter.
Yeah.
That's straight 90s right there.
Sure is. Where you got your orange chair.
Oh my
yellow chair, whatever it is.
Yep, I didn't think we'd ever see Alex Ross paint that era of X-Men, since at the time he called himself an X-Men hater. He would only draw like Silver Age X-Men, but now, well, here we are.
Yep.
Sensibilities change.
The fall of X calls for the return of the Avengers Unity Squad. Who are the gods? Spelled G.O.D.S.
We'll be asked that question many more times throughout this month's solicits.
Yes, we shall. Captain America, Rogue, Deadpool, Quicksilver, Psylocke, and Monet. That is a collection right there.
Yeah. And Psylocke is back to being Psylocke. Last I heard, she was running around as Captain Britain.
Yes, I'm surprised about that as well. Although maybe this is Quanon, actually.
Oh, that's good point. But I was about to say, she died of the legacy virus, but
it doesn't really matter as long as it's
especially in the Mutants corner of the MU, very specific to the current plot line. Death doesn't
matter. Yep.
Exactly. Yeah. And just looking at it, like they're being very nebulous with this particular cover, but it could be either one. We'll find out. Right. You read it. Yep. And then something I am incredibly looking forward to.
I'm going to try this for sure. Ewing on Thor.
Yep.
Latest doing of Ewing on page 4.
Page 4. Yep. Al Ewing and Martine Coccolo bring us the immortal treatment for Thor himself.
A Miss Minutes variant cover.
Loki season 2 coming soon.
Yep.
The gods know him as Asgard's king, keeper of Mjolnir, hero of the tales. When injustice grips the earth and ancient powers bring down the sky, he fights for those who cannot. When a tale is done, we will know what that cost him. This is the story of the immortal Thor.
Sounds like it could almost be like a standalone in a sense, or
yeah.
Yep. This blurb tells us next to nothing, but it doesn't matter. We're sold anyway.
Mm-hmm. Are you going to have to read every single issue this month to find out who are the gods? Because it says plus a bonus page written by Jonathan Hickman.
I'll learn to live with the disappointment.
Yeah, I know. Oh man, that cover, man.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
And the interiors are nothing to slouch.
That's great.
Yep, that is Thor, and he looks nothing like Chris Hemsworth.
Yes, 100%. And we've come to the death of the Venomverse. It's dying. Dead.
Yes, and I think at this, as it reaches the end of its life, the Venomverse needs some privacy. It deserves our respect. Venomverse needs to be alone with its loved ones, one of which I am not, and neither are any of you. So.
It's okay. Carnage is there to comfort the Venomverse. Venom and Carnage can just be over in the corner doing their thing, and every now and then we'll check on them, make sure they're all right. Ask if they need some, ice chips, and then just be on our way.
I love your bedside, man.
Thank you. Page 7 for that one, issue 1 of 5. It's by the one and only Cullen Bunn, so it's got that going for it, but it's also the Venomverse, and I think I'm going to skip it. All right, moving on.
Keep scrolling.
Oh, hey, at least they make it easy.
Keep going.
Really, really good artwork, though. I'll tell you that, man. Wow! Oh my God! There's a Tyrannosaurus Rex Venom.
Yeah, a really devil dinosaur.
Yes. Oh man, and for that matter, it also includes the Earth X Venom.
Oh yeah, see that?
Yeah, which is May Parker from.
Still not going to buy
it. All right, heading over to the Spider-Man Annual, Stephanie Phillips and Alberto Focci. The contest of chaos begins. Spider-Man versus Wolverine, as Agatha Harkness is building a new Darkhold. And she's pitting Earth's mightiest heroes against each other to do it. First on her list is Spider-Man, who's attacked by Wolverine.
All right, Ian, this is one of your least favorite plot devices.
Yes.
When heroes end up fighting each other.
Yes. But this time it's in a contest, and it might be of champions. So that may help it a little bit. But yeah, still not my favorite. Page 14 for that. And then page 15... as Storm versus Iron Man, which is also a thing that exists. Okay.
This is a contest of chaos. By the way, Ian, you hit the nail on the head earlier. Summer, like comics go on vacation.
Oh, you're damn right. Yeah. Ghost Rider versus Human Torch actually sounds like it could be really awesome. But I'll be reading it on Unlimited if I read it at all. Page 16 for that. Zach Gorman and Stephanie Phillips on the writing charge, Alan Robertson and Alberto Focci on the artwork. Then we've got Moon Knight versus Taguchi?
South Korean character no one cares about.
Yikes.
Okay.
That's the translation there.
There we go. Page 17. I read the first issue of Ultimate Invasion, by the way.
How was it?
Oh, Hickman still got it, baby.
All right.
And they do one of my favorite things in it. I'll talk more about it when we actually do, talk comics next time around. But whenever one of the Ultimate characters is speaking, they use the mixed case that the Ultimate Universe utilize. And whenever someone from the 616 is speaking, it's all capitals.
Nice.
That is really a really nice touch.
Yeah, I'm really into that lettering decision as well.
Yep. Page 18 has issue 3 of 4 of that. After Kang descends on the city of tomorrow, the Illuminati must regroup. Iron Man has a heart-to-heart with Tony Stark. What? And Dr. Doom, the anti-maker, prepares his own plans to deal with this evil Reed Richards. And the Ultimate Universe that the Maker thought he had rebuilt frays at the edges as they prepare for cosmic war. I'm loving it.
So they refer to Doom as the Maker. They mean when Doom was the God Doom, like the whole Secret War thing? Is that what they're referring to?
They're calling him the Anti-Maker because evil Reed Richards is the Maker. That's his actual moniker. So I believe they're trying to say that, when it comes down to a series of evils, Dr. Doom is the lesser of two evils in this situation.
Gotcha.
Plus, the artwork continues to be great. Marvel Age number 1000 on page 20. Once again, by everybody, quite literally everybody. JMS, Stan Slott, Jason Aaron, Mark Waid, Rainbow Rowell, Steve McNiven, Armando.
By the way, Ian, I just picked up volume 2 of She-Hulk by Rainbow Rowell. Looking forward to reading it.
Very nice, very nice. Ryan Stegman on the artwork, Kari Andrews, Mike Allred, Alessandro Capuccio, Ryan Stegman, Marguerite Savage, Pepe Larraz, Steve McNiven, and tons more with a cover by Gary Frank and others. Greg Land variant, Francis Matapole gets a variant in there. This is great. What a way to celebrate the Marvel Universe. Issue 1000.
I'm actually looking forward to what's on page page 26 and 27.
Mm-hmm. Check it out. Oh yes, Alpha Flight. Ed Brisson writing a 5-issue Alpha Flight mini.
And we got,
the Mutant Menace.
Guardian, Puck, Snowbird, and Shaman.
Yes. Very cool. Yeah, I'm down for that.
And the next issue, I mean, I think both of you guys will love this. Jean Grey, Louis Simonson.
Yep, and Bernard Chang.
Yeah, that's I'm definitely going to give this a shot.
Got it. Yeah.
Legendary writer Louis Simonson returns to the X-Men with a story full of fan-favorite moments, heart-rending revelations, and pulse-pounding devastation. So,
in a desperate attempt to save her and all of Krakoa's future.
That's a beautiful cover by Amy Reeder. Wow.
So good. So freaking good.
I still think they never should have brought Jean back, but they did, and with certain writers, it works.
That Amy Reeder cover, that I feel like she's very specifically emulating like Byrne's face for Jean. I
was thinking it almost has a Bill Sienkiewicz feel to it.
That could work too.
Yeah, it's either way, it's gorgeous.
I was seeing Tim Sale.
Ooh, you know what, Murd? That's even better.
Yeah, you know what?
Yeah.
I take away everything I said.
No, Murd's right. Murd's right. Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Now I can't.
The majesty of Murd.
Oh, we're happy we're here. All right.
Yep.
Happy to be here, gents.
Indeed. Realm of X on page 29. Torin Grombek with Diogenes. I always get that name wrong. I'm sorry. Dionysius Nevis on artwork chores. Leaping straight from the astonishing events of this year's Hellfire Gala, the unlikely team of Magic, Mirage, Marrow, Dust, and Typhoid Mary find themselves stranded in Vanaheim?
That is pretty unlikely.
Yes. What's even more confusing, the locals seem to believe that they hold the key to fulfilling a prophecy that they can either raise the realm to riches or cause it to fall to ruin. Well, one or the other. Page 29. I like seeing Marrow in things. Ooh, great cover there for
great cover.
Airman. Yep, page 31.
So, Ian, X-Men Red, has Ewan been writing the whole series?
Yes, he has.
Okay, I have to get the trades on that. I haven't read that at all.
It's great.
I know you recommended it. Yeah.
Plus, it's one of our favorite type of X-Men, which is the spacefaring X-Men.
I love spacefaring X-Men. Yep.
Yep. And plus, I mean, you get Nova in there, and you get a bunch of other characters. It's great. Immortal X-Men number 14 looks pretty foreboding right there. To me, my no one.
Xavier had a dream. Now he has nothing. This is the fall of X. He fell furthest. Well, we talked years ago about how creepy he'd become. So maybe this is the comeuppance for that.
Yeah. And Kieran Gillen writes creepy pretty well.
Yes, he does.
Oh, look, it's the series so super secret they can't tell us anything about it, even the title, and we're supposed to pre-order it.
Yeah,
they tell us it's $4.99.
I'm pretty sure that this was the fall of that happened in Amazing Spider-Man, but I could be wrong about that. There could be something else, but that would make a lot more sense here on page 34. You're one of the.
It's in the mutant section, so I'm going to assume it's an X-Men related title.
Possibly, yeah. I mean, they say watch out for July. So we are, as we record this, 4 days away from July. So if they are going to be telling us about another series, then that's when it's supposed to happen, I guess. So I'm gonna look real quick and see if classified Marvel previews June. Let's see if anything. This. I don't think there's any real news on what that is yet. So we will have to probably wait a few more months.
Oh, forget that. What's more important is what's on page 40.
Oh, and you know what? Actually, I'm sorry. It could very well be who we think it is, because if it is who we think it is, they're probably going to make her a mutant, and we'll.
Oh, what a shock!
Yeah, I know, shocking everybody. Anywho, yeah. Well, what page were you looking for, sir?
40.
Yep. Okay, great. You know what? Before then, though, just real quick, the Marvel Voices X-Men. I always love pointing these ones out because they're a good collection of creators And this one in particular has Greg Pak and Al Ewing involved with it, plus tons others, and a great cover by Bernard Chang to throw it in there as well. So some nice short stories about X-Men you love, including Jubilee and Storm and Bishop and what have you. So page 35 for that. Marvel Voices X-Men #1. Okay.
So page 40 is exciting because it's, first of all, it's one of my favorite writers and one of your favorite artists, Ian.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed.
So
Yeah.
it takes place by the costume when Magneto became the headmaster of the New Mutants back in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
So the story's in that time period, apparently.
You are correct.
But it's from a totally different perspective. I love when they do that. So I'm definitely going to give this a shot.
Yeah, this they announced a little while before this particular previews came out, and I saw the creative team and immediately I was like, "In baby, this sounds awesome." And I've been into that era of the X-Men, and I've always wanted more from that particular time in Magneto's life, especially after we talked about it on the spotlight that we did.
Yep.
Like it intrigues me a lot to just know more about when Magneto was on the side of good before his current, nebulous time when all the X-Men
Right.
are nebulous. So, and he had a giant M on his chest.
Yeah, and yeah. This is all that 80s period is really great X-Men reading, and New Mutants as well, of course. All Claremont.
Yeah. I'm a little annoyed, though, because I would absolutely want to order this series as well. But just apparently as some quirk of scheduling or whatever, it seems that anything that's expected to come out in the first week of August needed to be pre-ordered, at least through DCBS, which I'm doing while I'm down here in Stone Harbor for the summer, needed to be pre-ordered last month.
Oh, I totally missed it then. I'll send them an email.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I went to order my stuff for this month, I discovered that several books that we're seeing in this Marvel previews, everything that's supposed to come out the first week of August was not available to pre-order on DCBS's site. Apparently it needed to be done a month in advance for whatever weird reason.
That is a bunch of what is the correct phrase? Yes, bullshit.
Yes, I believe you have selected the correct phrase, mon frere.
Yes. Oh man, and that knock cover on page 40.
Yeah, that's great.
Classic goodness right there. Talk about great covers. Captain America finale. Colin Kelly and Jackson Lanzig, along with Carmen Carnero. Cap's final stand on the Outer Circle. This is going to be concluding their run on Captain America. As we know who's taking over, J. Michael Straczynski will be having a run on Captain America coming soon. But page 42 has that solicit, and excellent cover to go along with it. Page 43 gives us a new Stephanie Williams Invincible Ironheart miniseries with Jimmy Toe along as well. A little bit of a different take on the Ironheart suit this time around. Kind of reminds me a little bit of almost like a Nova helmet going on here, only with different colors. I'm taking it. Page 43, and then your
facsimiles.
Yep. Giant Size X-Men #1 facsimile, and Amazing Spider-Man #300 facsimile, and
that's a keeper right there.
Werewolf by Night issue 33.
When we just did our introducing, what a joy it was to have that Avengers facsimile as part of the discussion. It was so much fun.
Yeah. How else would I know more about my now favorite form of
Tune in that episode, ladies and gentlemen, to know what we're talking about.
That's all on page 44 for the facsimiles. And then everybody make sure you have this one ordered. Marvel Unleashed #1, page 45. All the dogs of the Marvel Universe come together as Kraven unleashes the beasts.
Plus there's a frog and a cat, sort of.
Yep.
And Lucky the pizza dog.
Oh, yes. Of course. Chewy the cat flurkin. If only they had Miss Lion in there. Then it would just complete everything.
Yeah, totally. Oh, how about Deuce the Devil Dog?
There you go. All right. Page 46. Amazing Spider-Man issue 31. Zeb Wells with Kari Andrews and more. This is a special oversized issue as New York City takes on Tombstone. Peter Parker is the best man, and Tombstone is walking the bride down the aisle. As Janice Lincoln and Randy Robertson officially tie the knot, and New York City aren't seeing this as an opportunity to off Tombstone. The story sets up for our big spider event of Zeb and Johnny's second year on Amazing Spider-Man, and that's just the half of it. I did read issue 27, by the way, and enjoyed it. The Doc Ock issue.
Yeah, I haven't read that yet.
Yeah, really, it was nice to get past issue 26. Let's just put it that way. I still have to catch up, but I read 25 and 26, so I decided to just read 27 to see if I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Anna, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying, and I did, and I hope that I continue to enjoy what's to come, because 26 was trash.
Yeah, I'm probably be jumping back and forth depending on what's going to happen in issue. This I'm definitely going to get because I really like how they've developed the Tombstone character in this new volume of Spider-Man.
Absolutely. Ooh, love this Patrick Gleason variant on the next page 47 for issue 32. And then we get an annual by Erica Schultz with Julian Shaw as Hallows Eve returns.
She hasn't been gone very long. Her miniseries is, I think, still ongoing right now.
Well, she's
trying. They're giving her publicity. And I don't know if anyone's listening.
Yes, they definitely are.
Oh, good, because I do like the character. I like the concept, but
you get Nitro in Captain Marvel Dark Tempest issue 2. Been a while since we've seen Nitro. One of the main catalysts of the original Civil War.
Yes.
Which I'm just now reading.
Wow. Oh, boy. You should delay yourself mid Civil War reading just to reenact the giant delay that we had in between issues.
Oh God, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
How long was that delay? Do you remember?
I think it was 2 months, if I remember correctly, which was like, that's nothing these days. But I remember because it was like the thing going on.
It's a good story.
Oh yeah, and like both CGS and Comic Timing put out special reports on Civil War. So if you want to go back in time, August 19th, 2006, CGS put out their special report on the delay of Civil War. 2 hours discussing that, along with Bo Smith, Brian Hibbs, Heidi McDonald, our one and only David D, and John Mayo, all involved in that CGS special report on Civil War.
Yep, and that's pretty much exactly the point to which I'm read up now, like late August 2006.
Nice. Oh, wow. Very, very familiar cover there for Storm number 4 or 5.
Yeah, it sure is.
Yep. Great cover by Alan Davis. The one that I'm the most familiar with, even though I know it's not the original, is when they did it with Jubilee when she left the X-Men.
Kitty Pryde is the original.
Yes, indeed. We get What If. Yes. What if Ben Grimm became Venom? Okay. It's a what if, though, so I'll probably check it out. Look at that homage. Oh, wow. The Nick Bradshaw cover?
FF51.
Oh, man. Wow. Witnessed the birth of a brand new Venom, Stephanie Phillips and Jethro Morales. And then, what if Dark Moon Knight? What if Moon Knight did not survive his battle with Bushman? Page 3. Yeah, wow. When Khonshu's avatar is slain, a different god empowers their own surprising new champion. From the darkness emerges a new force to light the way, Luminary. But will her quest for revenge against Moon Knight's killer result in her own downfall? I'm just glad to see what ifs in any way. Hunter's Moon involved with Moon Knight issue 26. Murd, I know you're a fan.
Mm-hmm. Yep, is my nominee for Best New Villain of 2021, I believe.
Yes, indeed. Page 56, reintroducing Spider-Boy. Spider-Boy is going to get either a miniseries or an ongoing soon to try to explain who the heck this person is, why Spider-Man suddenly has a Robin.
Do we know yet who Spider-Boy is?
We might, but I'm not caught up, so I don't have an answer to that. But I think he has a name. We just don't know the full story yet. So I'll have to check that out and try to catch myself up and report back.
Yeah, my early guess is that they're doing an all-new X-Men here.
Oh, that it is actually Peter?
Mm-hmm. Just young Peter brought forward in time briefly so that
that's possible.
Grown-ass Peter and young Peter can learn heartwarming lessons from each other and whatnot.
The theory that Dan Gavasdan floated, which apparently Dan Slott says that he's going to have to that Dan Gavasdan is going to have to actually eat his hat, is that when Spider-Boy was originally introduced, he theorized that it was a spider that became a man. And apparently that is not the case. Symbiote Spider-Man 2099. All the symbiotes. This one's Peter David, though. So 5-issue mini where Miguel gets a little bit more Venomy. Okay, a lot more Venomy on page 50. Speaking of Venom, prepare to meet your Venomy doom.
That's Al Ewing writing it.
Yep. Sergio Davila. Even if you don't read the Venom series, you might just want to pick that one up just for Doom.
Always love a good Hobgoblin story.
And it's Miles versus Hobby.
Nice, Ian. Good 80s reference. Hobby. Oh, I like that.
Oh, yeah.
Always love Spidey's pet names for his rogues.
He called him Hobby multiple times.
Yes, he did.
Series
did he really? Good.
That's how it got stuck in my head.
True to the page.
Yep. Page 61 for that. And Hulk faces undead horror as the Age of Monsters continues on page 62. All right, let's get down here a little bit more as most other things are ongoing. Issue 7 of Steve. Oh, man. Every single.
That's quite a cover. That's quite a cover.
Beautiful.
Wow. Scarlet Witch number 7. Wow.
Scarlet Witch in Oz.
Yep.
Steve Orlando, again, displaying his affinity for the obscure. He's bringing in a character called Bookworm, who was an old opponent of Sleepwalker in early issues of his series.
Yep.
And his ability is to psionically manifest visual representations of anything that he reads in books. And anything that he reads in print, he can bring to life. So he does that with the Land of Oz somewhere in Oklahoma, and Wanda gets to go deal with that. And I'm sure Steve Orlando has read a few Oz books in his time too. So this is a story I would love to read, but I believe this is another one of those things that comes out the first week of August. So I missed my chance to pre-order it.
And once again, you'll have to contact your DCBS in order to add it to your previous month's issue, and then perhaps they'll have an issue to give you. I hope, because Murd cannot not get Oz. I mean, come on.
Murd will get the Oz eventually. He's probably going to have to just scrounge it up at an LCS someplace.
So it goes. The NDD. The NDD. Exactly. Page 71. The conclusion of Chip Zdarsky's Daredevil saga.
I'm waiting for the omnibus on this because I read the first trade, loved it, but then I didn't get back to it. So I'm just going to wait for the whole collection to come out.
Yep. Page 71 for that. I believe it's Saladin Ahmed who's going to be taking over Daredevil. So that could be interesting. Strange Academy Miles Morales. Great cover by Nick Bradshaw. Carlos Hernandez and Juan Cabal on the writing and artist chores here. A school is back in session, and Miles Morales joins in on the fun on page 75 for Strange Academy. Charles Soule on page 79 brings us Dark Droids. They're droids, and they're evil. What else do you need? I mean, come on. Soule and Luke Ross with a great...
I love Luke Ross's art.
Yep.
Even Max Rebo's getting a book. Holy mackerel!
Yeah.
Yep.
Murd.
That cover reveals an early puppetry concept for Max Rebo. He was supposed to be a little guy sitting on a cushion in the middle of his keyboard, playing with his toes. But that didn't come across very well, so they finally just said, he just uses his arms.
I just got to watch E.T. in the theater yesterday.
Oh, wow.
At the Museum of the Moving Image, and got to see. I'd seen it for the first time in like 20 years, so it was as close to fresh as it could possibly be. And I love that one scene when it's Halloween and the kid in the Yoda mask comes along, and that is just a straight up Yoda mask that they got from Lucas. It's way too nice to be a Halloween. Scrolling further along here, and I believe we are in trades, and yes, we are. Wow, yeah. Page 88, Spider-Man Clone Saga Omnibus Volume 1. Brand new cover for this one, at least. So, if you haven't checked it out, this one is it's a thing. And
does Todd DeZago still write in comics?
Occasionally, not very often, but he'll come back for like anniversaries and stuff like that. Occasionally, we'll see his name, but DeZago, Mackie, DeFalco, Tom Weil, Tom Brevoort, Terry Kavanagh. This was an era. We had a listener on the supergroup actually ask, is like, okay, so I'm reading through Spider-Man. Should I bother with the Clone Saga? And I said straight up, there's some really good parts and there's some really not so good parts.
Well, it was so long and sprawling. My God. Hence an omnibus.
Yeah. I'd say the first volume is some of the strongest stuff, because you get the first initial introduction of Ben and the introduction of Scarlet Spider eventually, and it's intriguing. It's just when they don't wrap it up is where it gets annoying. So if you want to check it out for yourself, they are offering that hardcover for you folks on page 88.
And then Ben Reilly on the next page.
This has a lot of stuff in it, from Web of Scarlet Spider 1 through 4, Amazing Scarlet Spider 1 to 2, Scarlet Spider 1 to 2, Spectacular Scarlet Spider, Spider-Man Unlimited, Scarlet Spider Unlimited, an issue of Green Goblin, Sensational Spider-Man, the Wizard mini comic, bringing Wizard back into it, Amazing Spider-Man 407 to 410. Plus some Spider-Man, New Warriors, Spectacular Spider-Man. There's a lot of Ben Reilly stuff in here on page 89. And it goes through the gambit of when he was Scarlet to when he eventually became Spider-Man, and still what I think to this day is one of my favorite alternate Spider-Man costumes. It's really great, and Jurgens designed it. It's well done.
I'm excited by actually page 92.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Hidden Years Omnibus.
Yeah. Yep.
Murd, you're a fan of this series, aren't you?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I bought every issue as it was coming out. It was Byrne's little way of coming up with original adventures of the late Silver Age, early Bronze Age X-Men to bridge the gap during those years when the original
Reprints.
X-Men series was into reprints, right?
Yeah.
There were no new X-Men stories being told. So his idea was to make it basically a limited series. It would be exactly as many issues long as there were reprint issues of X-Men Volume 1. Mm-hmm. But it never quite got that far, and Byrne kind of stormed away from Marvel in a huff. But whatever he did get finished, 22 issues here is being represented, along with a few genuine Silver Age issues.
Yeah, I see that.
That tie into the things that Byrne was doing. Like, for example, those Fantastic Four issues, that was the Magneto and Namor story.
Very cool. When Magneto had like his purple costume or whatever it was.
Yep. And Amazing Adult Fantasy number 14 in there as well.
The Boy That Could Fly, the first mutant story.
What was that other series he did where it was like pre-Silver Age? Like it was supposed to be like pre-Silver Age.
Oh, God.
Marvel: The Lost Generation.
The Lost Generation, yep.
With the first line.
Yeah.
I read a decent amount of that back in the day, and it was not very good.
Yep, it was Byrne and his frequent collaborator Stern.
Yeah. I feel like that was right around where he tried to Man of Steel, the the Spider-Man universe.
Right, the chapter 1 thing.
Yep, exactly. All right. Good Marvel Masterworks here. Marvel Team Up, Volume 7 in hardcover on page 94. Whole bunch of great stuff there, including Doctor Strange and Clea that features the return of the Silver Dagger, adventures with Cap, Iron Man, and Daredevil, a bevy of bonus material including cover art from Marvel Tales.
Chris Claremont did some excellent Marvel team-up stories in the Bronze Age.
He did, definitely. And there's one with the co-stars Havoc and Polaris, for that matter, with the Living Monolith. Miracle Man by Gaiman and Buckingham, The Silver Age, in trade paperback. I gotta check this out. Page 96. Collects issues 1 through 7 of the Gaiman and Buckingham Silver Age, and material from Miracle Man by Gaiman and Buckingham 1 through 6 to finish it all out.
That's it for Marvel, folks.
Yeah, that is about it for Marvel. You are correct. Yep, because there's nothing else really calling to me outside of perhaps the Epic collection of Yesterday.
The Yesterday Quest.
Yes. Page 115. Back in Avengers 167 to 188, an annual 8 through 9, and material from Avengers, the Korvac Saga trade paperback.
So you should point out that people are interested in the history of Quicksilver, the Scarlet Witch. There's some key stories in here. It's beautiful John Byrne art where they go back to Wonder War Mountain. Murd knows these stories, of course. And they really explore that whole history. It's really well done.
Featuring the original Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yep, during one of their occasional trips to the past. Mm-hmm. They became honorary Avengers.
Yes, indeed. Oh, and Marvelverse Kraven the Hunter graphic novel, collecting Marvel Action Spider-Man 5 through 6, Marvel Adventures Spider-Man number 7, and Marvel Adventures Superheroes number 4, and Spidey number 9. So if you want some kids Kraven stuff, written by the great Eric Burnham and Sean McKeever, for that matter, along with Paul Tobin and Robbie Thompson, and check out page 122.
Some all-ages Kraven in advance of a very non-all-ages Kraven movie.
Most definitely. Yes. I watched that trailer, and boy, oh boy, was that a trailer. All right. Onward we go to the rest of the book. And here we are with Aftershock. And not a lot of Aftershock to speak of outside of what we were expecting, which is collections.
Yep, we still have these things to sell you, so please buy them.
Yes, please buy them and help us get out of the bankruptcy that we are currently in. Speaking of Robotech, page 204. Yeah, Robotech Rick Hunter, number 1 of 4. Written by Brandon Easton, with artwork by Simone Ragazzone. Robotech launches into an epic new series by Transformers writer Brandon Easton and Simone of the Power Rangers run. After the devastating events of the Macross saga, Rick Hunter, what a name, must face an all-new threat along with the ghosts of his past. When a Zendrade splinter group attacks Yokohama, Rick is called to investigate. Piloting the new prototype YF-4, Veritech, Rick encounters old friends and new enemies, all while recounting the moments of his life that shaped most epic moments in the Robotech universe.
Said with gusto, my friend.
Thank you muchly. I was trying to invoke the on the next episode. Page 204 there.
207. A Quentin Tarantino, one of my favorite film directors of all time. A first-person account about his life and his influences.
That's fascinating.
Yep, I like the visual style we're seeing in this sample page. I do find myself wondering how much Tarantino himself was involved here. Or if it's just kind of pieced together through like quotes from interviews he's done.
We'll find out, Murd. It's a good point.
Yeah.
Or a good question, I should say.
Yep. But but certainly interested to see what it actually is like. because the pages that they show and that cover are great.
Supposedly this fall he is shooting his final film, or so he says.
Final film.
Yeah.
Until his next one.
Exactly. Or he'll wind up just doing TV after that, or streaming.
Or he'll write more books. I just read a book he released of exploring a lot of his influences. An excellent book.
Mm-hmm. The Return of Scarlet Couture on page 210 by writer-artist Des Taylor. The Covert Investigation Group's most deadly spy returns as her team embarks on a thrilling game of cat and mouse of theirs thrown into the high-stakes world of technological espionage. Any of you fans of Scarlet Couture, you get another miniseries involved with her on page 210. Big fan of Dez's artwork. Very old school with touches of new in there with the digital inks and what have you. Page 213. Check out the Solar Punk Metropolis in Blitmap.
Beautiful.
I have never seen the term solar punk used before.
Yeah, and neither have I. And I want to know what this is, because under the shadows of an ancient cataclysm, Blitnauts and Logos faction battle for power, while the Static's elusive realm entraps and corrupts all who submit to its mystifying call. Fantastic and really interesting visuals, painting the world of this solar punk in fascinating ways on page 213.
Yep. Blind bag issue includes digital experiences and interactions. So I guess there's little scannable QR codes or something in each issue that let you into a virtual environment, so you can look at part of the setting of the story.
Remember in the early days of Marvel Unlimited, they were doing that with Marvel Comics also, where you're able to scan QR codes and then get behind the scenes stuff and things you wouldn't normally get inside the issue. Like an AR type thing. Ooh. For fans of Magical Girl manga, Alpi, the Soul Sender, out of Titan's manga division. In Alpi's magical world, divine spirits are the source of all life, communities living in harmony under their protection. However, when their lives end, a terrible curse drives them to evil. These malign spirits must be sent to the afterlife by the Soul Senders. Alpi is one such girl, talented despite her young age, and assisted by her familiar Pelini. Page 217. Nice fantasy manga there, out of Titan. And scrolling further along to the rest of the. You know what? Actually, this catches my eye. I'm going to scroll back up and see if I can find it. Here we are. Out of a Blaze, Saint Seiya, Knights of the Zodiac, Time Odyssey. Once again, if you're looking for manga-esque stuff or anime-style 80s stuff,
here it is.
Here it is. Most definitely. And Knights of the Zodiac is an original CG anime that's streaming on Netflix right now. And this is basically a side story comic book in that realm by Masami Kuramada, along with Jerome Aoki and Arnaud Dolan, with art by Jerome as well. As the Galaxian War are back with the new generation of Knights of the Zodiac on page 222. The art struck me, and that's why I had to check this out, because that is some classic manga artwork right there on the following pages. Speaking of classic manga, page 228. The master himself, Osamu Tezuka.
Wow, look at that.
100 Tales. It's an adaptation of the Faust legend as a samurai period piece done by the one and only Tezuka himself. Tezuka, as I should have said it. Never
before published in the USA.
That's what I like to see. Stuff that's never made it over here, finally make it over here. And God, that artwork. Nobody did it like Tezuka.
Nope. That's why he's been called the God of Comics.
Yes, indeed. All right, scrolling further along here. Let's get to page 239. Ancient Enemies First Responder. Out of Frank Miller presents This Looks Like the 90s.
Dan DiDio scripting.
Yeah. Yes, he is. Art by Mario Guevara, inks by Joe Prado, colors by, our friend Brian Miller and Hi-Fi Design.
Mm-hmm. Yep. He's the first responder and dedicated his life to saving others while unable to save himself. In this one shot, we learn his origins and set up the world-shattering climax to the Ancient Enemies series. Well, it's going to be world-shattering, so let's not shatter our world quite yet as we read this one shot on page 239. Ooh, wow. That's
yeah, it sure is.
This is the Evanescence Echoes from the Void trade paperback that we mentioned on previous previews. So this puts the music of Evanescence to life in comic book form on page 241 here. And here's the full trade paperback of it, which will be available on August 16th. Art by Kelly McKiernan, Sia Ohm, Abigail Larson, Claris, and VR Tanaga Comics. So check it out if you're a fan of Evanescence, or even if you're not. It looks like it's going to be really pretty. Got a brand new series.
Sean Murphy.
Yes, Sean Murphy brings The Plot Holes on page 248. Squad of fictional warriors who transport themselves into pages of other books, using their unique skills to save the plots in order to stop them from being destroyed.
Huh.
Oh, that's a great comment.
Sure is.
Yep. Yeah, I'm on board for that.
Mm-hmm. The other members are misfits like him, pulled from unpublished books that couldn't be saved. A manga samurai, a barbarian tiger, a kid from a comic strip, and a vampire assassin. Damn, this is fun.
Our main character is a comic book writer from an unpublished novel about a comic book writer who doesn't even know he's a character.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Man, this is going to be fun. Page 248. Wow. That's out of Massive, by the way. And yeah, I'm in on this.
Yeah, I'm going to try it too.
Great name for it too.
Yeah. No, it's a really, what a concept.
And the artwork looks great too. Okay, scrolling down into further depths of the back of the book.
Page 263 has something very exciting on it. Grendel Devil by the Deed Masters Edition.
Ah, yes.
So Matt Wagner apparently has gone back, because the Devil by the Deed is the original Grendel story. And he's created, according to the copy here, 120 new pages. And essentially he's retelling the original story of Grendel. Wow. It's a brand new graphic novel, a reimagining. I'm definitely getting this.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
That's really exciting.
Especially for anybody who's a fan of Grendel, and even people who've never even checked it out.
And it's Wagner at the peak of his power, so I'm really looking forward to checking that out.
One page up, by the way, Black Hammer: The End.
Ooh, I missed that. Well done, honey. I keep forgetting Dark Horse has been exiled at the back of the book.
Yeah. Page 262.
Now, at least they're not quite as far back as they were before. Apparently, they and IDW have been promoted a little bit, like to the front of the back of the book.
Oh, they've only been a publisher for 30 years. Like, come on.
I know.
I agree. They deserve better, but at least they're getting a little better than they'd been getting for the last couple of months.
Certainly, yeah. This is supposedly the next era of the Black Hammer universe. 6-issue event series by Lemire and Malachi Ward.
Well, everything I've read so far has been wonderful, so we definitely be picking this up.
Yep. And Malachi is a listener and supporter of ours. He participates actively on our super group. And he's just a talented guide. Besides which, just look at the art on display here.
Well, Malachi, we're looking forward to reading this book.
Absolutely. Anything else? Killer Queens 2. Another one in the Killer Queens saga here by David Boer with Brandon Clayton on the artwork, page 264. Good sequel action there.
Page 272 and 273. The Star Trek comics that are out now, and in the comic talk that's coming, I talk about this a little bit, but they're doing a wonderful crossover involving characters from all the different, like Deep Space Nine, Voyager. It's what I read. I just picked up in the middle to see what it was like. It was excellent. So I'm definitely jumping onto this. Really, if you know your Star Trek history, I think you're going to love this story. It's called Day of Blood.
By the way, our listener, Brian Tusick, was the one who brought plot holes to our attention. Wanted to make sure to call him out.
Thank you, Brian.
Page 273, as you said there, on the right-hand side, we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Splintered Fate by Henry Barajas with Pablo Verdugo. When Splinter is kidnapped, the Turtles search for clues across New York City to try to find their master. With all signs pointing to the nefarious Foot Clan, April and Metalhead analyze artifacts recovered by the brothers to help zero in on where Splinter is being held. However, as the gang gets ever closer to Splinter's location, they start to uncover an even greater threat working from the shadows. What is the threat? We shall find out.
I think it rhymes with cheddar.
Never. No, definitely not. Okay, it probably is.
Yeah. I'm just happy Metalhead is involved.
Yes. Look at this American Splendor style cover for Cerebus and page 274. Aardvarkian Splendor one shot. Okie dokie. Oh, page 274. Simpsons Treehouse of Horror Omnibus.
It's an ominous omnibus.
Ominous omnibus.
Yes, it is. You are correct. Dead time stories for boos and ghouls. I'm glad to see these being collected, because after Bongo folded, I was worried that a lot of this stuff would just be in limbo. And it looks like Abrams has resurrected the Simpsons line, at least in collection form. Not going to get any new issues anytime soon. So happy to see that coming.
Yep, there were a lot of great stories by a lot of surprising talent came out in those annual one-shots they did.
Mm-hmm. Some of the first stuff Gail Simone ever did was in Simpsons comics.
I'm sorry, go back one page. I apologize.
Yes.
Washington's Gay General.
Yes.
So what's interesting about this, it's going into the life of Baron Wilhelm von Steuben, who was a very important figure in the American Revolution. He essentially trained the Continental Army to fight European style so they could go toe-to-toe against the British. So he's one of the reasons why we survived and won the American Revolution. And he was a gay man. So I hope they did their research here, because this could be a really good book.
Absolutely.
Really important figure in the early history of the United States.
Josh Trujillo is the man behind it as well. Yeah. Levi Hastings on the artwork. Good team to be putting that together on page 275.
Page 288 in the Archie section. There's an interesting book that I think Murd might also find captivating.
You're jumping past the Three Stooges meet Cthulhu on the way there, though.
Where was that? What page?
Page 280 under American Mythology.
Okay.
I mean, the title kind of says it all, but yeah. And there's a cover by Eric Shanower there too.
Very cool.
Glad.
In fact, you know what? Actually, hold on. Let me scroll back up so I don't forget to talk about this, because there was something out of Ahoy, who are of course some of our favorite people, on page 276. The trade paperback for The Gimmick is available. I wanted to check this out, as this is a Coen Brothers style dark comedy by Joanne Starr and artist Elena Gogu, about a pro wrestling champ whose ring persona, his gimmick is forgettable. He's a nice guy, but his secret is more colorful. He has super strength. When he accidentally punches his fist straight through his opponent's brain in front of 2.4 million horrified viewers, everything changes. I've been meaning to check this out. It's available in trade now. I need this in my life.
Well, to compare to the Coens, that's huge shoes to fill right there.
It's not quite as dark as it sounds.
No, it is.
I have been buying the issues.
Nice. So yeah, page 276, the gimmick in trade paperback form. All right. What was that page number again?
288 from Archie.
Excellent.
Strange science.
Nice.
Just looks fun.
Yes. Oh, and it's by Mags. There we go. Yeah, Mags Visaggio with art by Butch Mappa. Very cool. Danny Malloy is Jinx Holiday's best friend, and where one goes, the other is sure to follow, even if that means through hell and back, and forth through the depths of space and time. When Danny receives a mysterious message from former friend Dilton Daly, Danny is horrified to learn that he's built a time machine, and it's gone horribly wrong. And now there's three of them. Now the three of them have been transported to warped versions of Riverdale, where nothing seems quite right. It's up to Danny to set things right and bring them back to the present day. Kind of Bill and Ted meets Archie in execution. I'm thinking page 288, and it's timey-wimey.
I got something on page 296 when you get there, honey.
Okay.
There it is. How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way. I had to point it out.
Yes.
This goes back to the Fireside editions. They did a whole host of those in the 70s, and one of them was the late great Big John Buscema doing a tutorial with Stan Lee providing narrative on how to draw comics. So Buscema actually had a class I think he did in the 70s where he actually taught comic illustration. I think Lee then asked him to participate in this book. For me, one of the greatest artists in the medium's history.
Excellent. Page 300, The Madness, number 1 of 6. Brand new from JMS himself. Pencils by ACO or ACO, depending on your preference. And it's a tale of bloody revenge, as Sarah Ross's godlike powers made her the perfect candidate for the world's toughest wetworks jobs, until her government employer decides she wasn't needed anymore. To close the book on Sarah, her handlers decide the smart move is to assassinate her, along with anyone who happens to be nearby. Now stark raving mad and laser focused on revenge for the murder of her family, Sarah faces an army of superpowered operatives determined to stop her. Described as Kill Bill meets the Avengers, which itself is all the description. On page 300.
Maybe Kill Bill meets the Authority would be a little more accurate.
That may be closer to the truth, yes. On the next page, 301, the first 4 issues of Red Zone by Cullen Bunn and Diodato Jr. are collected.
On page 322 and 323, 2 interesting collections there. So we've got one of the godfathers of the medium, Milton Caniff's Terry and the Pirates, 1940, the time of cholera. Anyone interested in the history of comics, the influence of newspaper strips on comic artists, like John Romita Sr. would always cite Milton Caniff as one of his greatest influences. And these are if you're interested in 1940s, one of the preeminent newspaper strips of the 1940s, 30s, and 40s, it's Terry and the Pirates. High adventure. I mean, a lot of it's like in the Orient, a lot of stuff that be seen as out of step today, but really important stuff. And then on the next page, a beautifully illustrated edition of The Great Gatsby.
Ooh, nice. I love these illustrated editions of novels. Yep. Page 323 for that, and the cover is great too.
Yes, it is.
That's something special. Jorge Coelho is the artist who's illustrating the illustrations for this. Dial Books brings us Mexikid on page 327. I just love the name, so I had to mention it here. by Pedro Martin. It's a kid's comic, all ages, that is, as a poignant, hilarious, and unforgettable graphic memoir about a Mexican-American boy's family and their adventure-filled road trip to bring their abuelita back from Mexico to live with them. So nice slice of life tale here for all ages that hopefully a bunch of different people can relate to out of Dial Books. Once again, Mexikid on page 327.
I have something really exciting when you get there on page 355.
Excellent. Before I do, on page 328, Nejishiki by Yoshinaro Tsugi. As this unveils the most iconic scenes from Toshihiro Tsugi's highly respected body of work alongside his most beloved stories. Tsugi's stories abruptly cross the threshold of conventional storytelling, unassuming protagonists venture further into eerie symbolism against a shadowy, perceptibly dreamlike landscape, easily mistaken for the real world. The angst that pervades post-war Japanese society threatens to devour his characters and their pastoral sensibilities as each protagonist's wanderlust turns surreal. Certainly sounds up my alley, and I had to check that one out on page 328. Alrighty. And I will continue to scroll until I get to one that I need to
want to talk about this one.
Yes, you better believe it. 341. Not a New York love story. So it's not about a New York love story. So I'm not interested. That's it. It's actually about Connecticut. So just for variety's sake. Is this a dream or reality? He can feel her presence. He knows she's there, but she isn't. She takes him on a trip around New York and all the places he wouldn't go before the accident. From Coney Island to the Lower East Side, he's turning the pages of his life with the one he loved, the one he lost. A tale of emotions, grief, and a love letter to a city like no other in the world. Amen to that. And this sounds fascinating to me, honestly. Not only that, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
Pages are lovingly rendered. It's kind of watercolor-esque from the looks of it, but also like very detailed and structured. 341, and that above shot of New York City. Oh, gotta love it. Check it out. All right, what was that page you called out to me earlier, sir?
355.
355 it is. There we are.
So if I'm reading the copyright, this is a new Bone story?
Yes.
More Bone Tall Tales.
Mm-hmm.
So the sequel to the Tall Tales book. I think that's enough. It's Bone. Illustrated by Jeff Smith, Stan Sakai, Katie Cook, Matt Smith, and Scott Brown.
I mean, yes. Oh man! Wow, excellent people to be involved with Bone anything. So
I'll point that out.
Definitely. Thank you, sir.
You bet. Also on page 365.
Hold on, I have something else on that might be something that you would be interested in. I Survived the American Revolution, 1776.
A kid's comic.
Exactly. Gripping graphic novel adaptation of Lauren Tarshiss's best-selling I Survived the American Revolution, 1776, with text adapted from Georgia Ball and art by Leo Trinidad. It's about Nathaniel Fox, who never imagined he'd find himself in the middle of a blood-soaked battlefield fighting for his life. He's only 11 years old, and he's barely paid attention to the troubles between America and England. Instead, he's been worked to the bone by his cruel uncle. When his uncle's rage forces him to flee home, suddenly Nate finds himself in New York City in the middle of the American Revolution. Yeah, fascinating.
He's entered the revolution at a very perilous time because the British land in New York and kick the crap out of us. So,
not the best moment of the war.
No, but it led to better things down the road.
Yep.
Depending on your perspective and who you were.
Page 356 also has the Swamp God hardcover, Ron Mars's heavy metal entertainment book with Armitano on the artwork chores. This is a full story right here. At the end of the American Civil War, a ragtag squad of Confederate soldiers calls upon the ultimate evil to save the South. Now the remains of their unit must team with Union soldiers to survive the horrors of the Swamp God.
Great cover.
Great cover and great premise.
Yep. If it were only in soft cover, I would be in.
Well, I'm sure you'll get there soon enough, my friend. I guarantee you there'll be a soft cover to come. Page 356 for that.
Looking on page 365 from Humanoid. Actually, you know what, Ian? I'm sorry. Go back a page.
Yes.
The Shadows of Fuel. A horror comic crossed with the first century AD Roman era.
That looks really good.
Yeah, the art is superb.
Excellent.
I'm probably going to try that too.
It looks the artwork. Oh man, like it kind of like Caselli with like a couple of other influences thrown in there for good measure. It's like some Gary Frank style.
Yeah, look at that! Wow,
man, really, really great.
Yep. So, one of my all-time favorite bands, the Velvet Underground, are getting a biocomic.
Yep.
So, anyone who is always loved like alternative music, as they would call it, especially for a name we heard a lot in the 80s and 90s in rock, it pretty much all starts here.
Oh yeah,
so one of the most important bands in the history of rock and roll in the United States.
A very Velvet Underground cover there. As much yellow as you can fit onto a page. Ooh, good artwork too on the following page. All right. Bring it down a little further here. The official Bob's Burgers coloring book on page 372. Coloring books can be for adults too, and this one most definitely is. I'm sure that kids will enjoy it, but chances are adults are going to be the one buying it, and there ain't nothing wrong with that. Hyperion Avenue has it on page 372 for any of you Bob's Burgers fans out there.
I'm on page 402 when you get there.
Okie. Ooh. Let's go to 389. Flavio Massaruto and Squaz. I'm just going to say the word Squaz one more time. Squaz. He's this is Mingus, the hardcover. They're just giving me words that I just enjoy saying right now. Bass player and pianist, composer and band leader Charles Mingus is universally recognized as one of the greatest musicians in the history of jazz, an overflowing talent who experienced the last fires of the swing age, the bebop revolution, the experimental seasons of third stream and jazz poetry up to freeze jazz. But he was also a tormented and angry soul, a man who, due to his mestizo origins, always had to deal with the hostility of American society. Journalist Flavio Massaruto and artist Squaz retrace the stages of Mingus' journey, giving life to a non-canonical biography which proceeds in paginated episodes, like a succession of passages that form a musical suite. This is really, really cool. And it's a character that I was not aware of, Charles Mingus, and this just sounds like the way to celebrate the man with a hardcover like this. Out of NBM on page 389. So if you're at all a fan of jazz, this may very well be for you, Mingus. And on the bottom of that page, Alfred Hitchcock, Master of Suspense hardcover. I just watched Rope for the first time earlier this week. One of Hitchcock's lesser known but also excellent.
I've never seen that. Yeah,
I watched it just earlier this year on VHS, of course.
Of course.
Of course. I mean, how else?
On your Zenith TV?
Yep. Yes, absolutely.
I'm in a Hitchcock mood lately. So Master of Suspense hardcover here by Noel Simsolo with Dominic Hay. If you're a fan of Hitchcock, this may very well be for you on page 389. Master of Suspense in hardcover. All right. Let's bring on.
Oh, you can't pass by the thing on page 392.
You are absolutely correct, my friend. Dwellings.
Yep, written and drawn and covered by Jay Stevens of decidedly more all ages fare, such as Jet Cat, the likes of that sort of thing. This is a horror story. It's a first of 3 supersized limited issue series. 72 pages long, $9.99 cover price, and small town horror with a Saturday morning edge is the hook. And just look at it. It's styled on the cover and the interiors, basically like a 1950s Harvey comic, but depicting a horrific series of events. This little blue-haired child wanders around his hometown and commits murder after murder
as no one else can.
From the sugar-addled brain of Emmy Award-winning, Eisner Award-nominated cartoonist and animator Jay Stevens.
Oh, man. And they did such a good job of making it look old.
Got the Ben-Day dots in place and everything.
Mm-hmm. And the fake fraying on the pages. It's
I saw that on the cover, but I didn't notice it on the interiors. But they are definitely there. You're right.
Oh, man. Oh, time to the kids. Oh, man. Yeah, this is great. This is great.
Yeah, the mock Comics Code Authority seal on the front says, definitely not for kids or cowards. I don't think I'm going to get it issue by issue, but if Oni puts out a trade, I'm there.
Fair enough. Yep, it'll be well worth it from the looks of it. $3.98. Dan White's Cindy and Biscuit, We Love Trouble, collected in softcover. Meet Cindy and Biscuit, a girl and her dog. People, even her mom, keep telling Cindy she's weird, that she's got a morbid, overactive imagination. But if that was true, why would she keep encountering all these monsters, ghosts, and aliens in real life? It's a good question. Find out more from that and Dan White's lovely, fun Cindy and Biscuit, We Love Trouble on page 398. It's a girl and her dog and monsters. Where can that possibly go wrong? And then on the next page, Malcolm Kidd and the Perfect Song. Debut creators Austin Paramore and Sarah Bollinger strike a chord in this humorous and heartfelt story about love, loss, legacy, and the music that ties them all together. A lot of music comics in this month's previews, and I'm digging the look of this one. Definitely, it's got a very down to earth style to the artwork and a limited color palette that really works for it. Page 399 to check that one out. Malcolm Kidd and the Perfect Song. This one's called Soggy Landing on page 400. I just have to point out because it's called Soggy Landing. Okay, moving on.
Along came a spider. Along came a spider. So it's the strange Steve Ditko and the creation of Spider-Man. So we're getting, I guess, another take on Steve Ditko's origins, his life, the various mercurial facets of it, and so forth.
Yep. And this one's illustrated. This is Annie Hunter Erickson on the writing chores and Lee Gatlin on the artwork. Once again on page 402, and I really like the cover. All right, let's bring it down a little bit more here. The Infinity Particle on page 406. Wendy Zhu, or Jew. This thought-provoking limited palette graphic novel by the co-creators of Mooncakes explores big questions through the eyes of an aspiring inventor and the lifelike AI she finds herself falling for. Immediately, I think of the movie Her from a couple of years ago.
I still haven't seen that.
Really good.
I've heard it's excellent. Yeah,
I had a great time with it. And this out of Quill Tree Books sounds like it'll invoke that and more with the Infinity Particle on page 406. And 407, John Wagner and Colin McNeil, Surfer graphic novel. Young sky surfer named Zane Perkins is hired by a film company to play the lead role in a recreation of Chopper's Super Suit 7's victory. However, after being double-crossed by the production company and arrested by the judges, Zane sets out to clear his name and find out the secret behind the scam. Sounds like fun. Surfer graphic novel on page 407. Got some nice looking noir there.
we sure do. Comic book kill number 1.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Shane Berryhill and Hoyt Silva on page 410.
There's your Count Dante, Murd.
Yep, right below it. And to the left of it is issue 5 of 5 of Dave Dwanch's latest project, Banshee.
Yes, indeed. Yep. All out of Scout Comics this month.
Yep. On the facing page, page 411, we have the first issue of Orson Welles, Warrior of the Worlds. Asks the question, what if the broadcast was real? What if Orson Welles is actually secretly an interplanetary freedom fighter?
Oh, I'm all for it.
Yep, you get your choice between young Orson and old Orson variant covers.
Ooh, man. Yeah, okay. I may have to check this out.
Great concept.
Oh, man.
I'm waiting at tomorrow's when you're ready.
Wonder if he'll talk about green peas. Okay.
Full of whole green penis. I was promised a cheese log.
Oh, wow. Page 420. What a frickin' cover. Ben Goldsmith on the writing, Drew Rauch on the artwork, and he did this cover too. The Seance Room, The Haunted House, a horror one-shot. A few teens seek out the Seance Room for Halloween fun, only to find the line between fun and fear is sometimes very black and white. Page 420.
The art is done by Drew Rauch and sets a perfect diametric tone between silly and horrific. Just like I like my Halloween entertainment, actually.
I was going to say, like, yeah, I'm not much into the creepy, but when the creepy's silly, then I'm all for it.
Right.
I look at the savage art of Bob Larkin. I meant to mention this. Good to see an artist of his caliber getting his due with his own book.
426 out of SQP Art Books. And right next to it, actually, yeah, pretty much everything on this page is golden, but Zombie Tramp Deluxe Edition, Volume 1 by Dan Mendoza, celebrating over 13 years of guts and grime. So Zombie Tramp's been running that long at this point. This is a Deluxe Edition Volume 1 trade paperback of said Zombie Tramp on page 426. Creator of everyone's favorite zombie girl. But then underneath it, kids comics, and the best type of kids comics, ones involving the adventures of Batgirl and Supergirl. Yes, please. The Alien Bloom of Doom and the Citywide Scream Scheme. Laura S. Sutton on the Alien Bloom of Doom with Sarah Louver on the artwork, and then Jay Albee on the writing shores with Tio Duarte on the artwork. All that once again on page 426, and you got two more on the next page, 427.
Page 432. Some great stuff coming out from tomorrow's.
Well, before that, my friend, 429.
Yeah, I've seen these in person in my LCS.
Yeah, Marvel Comics Library, The Fantastic Four, 1961 to 1963 in hardcover. Man alive. That is something else right there. XXL volume collects their first 20 stories and documents how...
Yeah, it's enormous.
Oh,
I've seen
11
it.
inches by 16 inches.
Yeah.
Wow.
Shane would have a coronary if this is delivered to him.
And as it's their first 20 issues, that would also include our introducing, correct?
Yes, it would.
Excellent.
Yeah. And page 430 has the same thing, but with the X-Men.
Ooh, wow. Man, that's great. Okay. And on we go to your favorite place.
All right. So first of all, we got an Alter Ego 184. It's a tribute issue to the late great Tom Palmer, one of the most magnificent inkers, in the silver and well, really worked right through into the present day, really. But if you ever see Tom Palmer ink Gene Colan on Doctor Strange, on Tomb of Dracula, it's for me some of the most gripping art ever produced in a comic book. So, unfortunately, getting more and more of these tribute issues because great creators are passing away.
Fortunately,
I'm sure they're going to do John Romita Sr. sometime down the road once the publishing schedule catches up. But definitely going to pick up this issue, and then the next page, really interesting. The Pacific Comics Companion. So, exploring the history of that very important indie publisher from the 1980s. So that's a great book to look at.
They also have a new printing on that same page of Kirby and Lee, Stuff Said.
Which is an excellent book because it takes you through the history of the two men and their unique perspectives on the same issues.
Well, after that Wii documentary came out,
we'll discuss that when we do our next comic talk.
The son of Kirby had things to say.
I'm sure he did. Yes, we'll discuss that.
Yep. All right. I think that's it until manga for me. But
take us home, buddy. Take us home.
Murd, you got anything before then?
I do not, sir. So let's manga it up.
Excellent. Manga it up. And once I get there, here we are. We have entered the world of manga. And starting off on page 461, Manga Classics Pride and Prejudice and other Manga Classics Jane Austen titles, including Emma and Sense and Sensibility, all available for you on page 461. If you want a manga retellings of some classics, they're all there for you. I like the looks of this. Well, mind you, this is Titan yet again, so I'm going to skip down a little bit further, try to get a different publisher spotlighted. Let's go with 467 and Cat-Eyed Boy. Revenge, Obsession, Retribution. A new deluxe edition of the classic series from horror manga master Kazuo Ernez. Cat-Eyed Boy. Chilling concoction of dark vignettes dripping with the macabre, the grotesque, and the absurd. Hated by humans and demons alike, Cat-Eyed Boy dwells in the shadows of the human world. No matter where he goes, terrifying situations involving humans and demons begin to unfurl. This is a classic brought back in volume 1 here on page 467. 544 pages to this first volume in this deluxe hardcover edition of the classic manga.
Eisner nominated, it says.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. All right. Volume 3 of the manga adaptation of Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell is here on page 470. I believe I mentioned previous volumes, but here's volume 3 of that manga, based on Rainbow's well-received book. I actually read Fangirl and loved it, and this is now a manga adaptation of said book. So I'll have to check that one out for sure. On page 470, this is volume 3 of that. And try to call out at least one more, and then I will call Bolt Shot. Yes, page 482. Ise Press. This is a Korean comic, but it's called Jungle Juice, and that's why I'm calling it out. Every society has its hierarchy, and college student Suchan Jang is at the top of the human one. Though popular and well-liked, he has a secret that keeps him from getting close to others. Under his clothes lies a pair of hidden insect wings. When he starts to expose them to save the girl he likes, the world is turned upside down, and Suchan promptly becomes prey in the insect food chain. That's a thing that exists. Page 2, baby. You gotta love it.
Bolt is definitely shot.
Most definitely is. All right. I think that's that. Anything in the tchotchke section, Murd?
I think we're going to take this month off from that, Ian. I checked it out, didn't see any. I saw a lot of repeats, actually.
Fair enough. In that case, job well done, gentlemen.
Thanks for leading us through it, honey.
My pleasure as always.
We got there about a half hour sooner than usual.
Not too shabby. That's what happens when a whole bunch of Marvel and DC are on vacation.
Thank you, Night Terrors.
Yes, you better believe it. And thank you, listeners, over at patreon.com/comicgeekspeak for your continued support of the show, however you can manage to give it. For as little as $1 a month, you can join us over at the Patreon. And whenever you do so, it makes us smile. So thank you very much. Patreon.com/comicgeekspeak. And the next episode after this, we'll take you back to the studio and we'll have the comic talk. Mm-hmm. And you're going to notice that we look a lot like we did in the last one. But that's, we swear. A different day. We swear.
We just haven't done our laundry recently.
Exactly. We've just been sleeping in the studio. And
oh, God.
But yes, cannot wait for that one to be out. And then once that's all said and done, we will have a double movie review, folks, of The Flash and Across the Spider-Verse. A couple of weeks after, but that'll give you all plenty of time to go out and see it if you have not already done so. So it all makes sense in the end. All right, Murd, you ready to be Shane?
I am prepared.
Okay, excellent. And let's give it a go.
If you'd like to send us an email, our address is comicgeekspeak@gmail.com. If you'd like to leave a voicemail, you can call 267-702-6642. You can like us on Facebook and join our CGS supergroup there, where you can give us feedback about this and various other episodes of the podcast, and also just start discussion threads with your fellow geeks on Facebook. It's a good time. You can also go to the comicforums.vanillacommunity.com, our original forum site, to do much the same thing. You can follow us on Twitter, where our handle is @ComicGeekSpeak. You can go to youtube.com/ComicGeekSpeak to see the video versions of all our recent episodes, including this one. It's a great way to follow on down the previews catalog with us as we call out the things that we think you ought to be paying attention to in each month's releases. We give special thanks once again to those of you who have donated monetarily to the program recently or in the distant past. We truly appreciate it, and we would not be what we are today without your help and participation. And as always, we are uniting the world's mightiest heroes, one listener at a time.
Image and Diamond, I pour a 40 out to you.